Good morning, Facebook. Marie?
Grand Rising. Good morning. What a beautiful morning it is.
Tell us who you are, love.
Awesome. Good morning, Valerie. Grand Rising, Abimbola.
Good morning,
Welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Peace and blessings.
Good morning. Hi, beautiful. And I see Miss Baker. Good morning. Well, good morning, Liz. Thank you for joining us this morning. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Morning.
Morning, thank you.
Anissa, good morning. Good morning, Marilyn. Good to have you with us today.
Good morning.
Yes,
You can
we'll
tell
be
everybody.
starting shortly as we allow the beautiful to join us. And how's your body this morning? What is it telling you? I know, Miss Lyons, you have something to say.
No, I have something to say. My body is telling me thank you.
Sheo.
Thank you.
And time to go back to sleep. Yes, Miss Shani. Good morning, Yannick from Atlanta.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning.
Zakia, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. And those of you who may be on Facebook, I can't see you right now, but thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us. Yes. The question right now before we get started is, what is your body telling you? How are you feeling this morning? Before we get started. The body always is talking to us, but are we listening? Wake up and get moving. Yes. Yes. We have to keep moving. Good morning.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. together, together.
Wake up, everyone. I have a little music to wake you really up. Can we cue in our music? Where is my phone?
Yavezu kataulo yavezu. Papa le balwa nam kitabe pasele bavezu. Yavezu biazo yonovezu. Yavezu kataulo yavezu. Papa le balwa nam kitabe pasele bavezu.
Listen, if it's for me, we could play the whole song. It's actually a homage to Papa Legba. Papa Legba in the Voodoo cosmology sits at the crossroads. He is the guardian of the crossroads, and he connects the physical dimension and the spiritual dimension. And he's the great communicator. And there's a Papa Legba energy in various systems. In Yoruba, Lukumi, it's Eshu. In the Wiccan tradition, it's the goddess Hecate. And when we come to the crossroad, we're challenged to make a decision, to choose a path. We bring our problems, we bring our concern at the crossroad. Yet when we're connected to spirit, those decisions can actually be lightened by the energy when we're listening, when we're connecting. How many of you have been at the crossroad most recently? Maybe last week at Thanksgiving dinner? How about this morning? Grand Rising, beloved. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Marie Nazon, Marie-Claude Nazon. I am the daughter of L'exil Nazon, granddaughter of Lexilia Dorval and Sylvia Marguerite Nazon, three of great priestesses that I have known in this dimension. I am initiate in several traditions. I'm initiate in Ifa. My Ifa name is Ifa Ojedinde, which means ancestor spirits return. And I'm an initiate in Voodoo, Haitian Voodoo. I am a Mambo, and I'm called Mambo Yasezi. Yasezi means they will be surprised. I am a student of Hawaiian spirituality, and I am an initiate in Celtic Wiccan system. I belong to a coven, and I've been a member of a Lakota Sweat Lodge Sundance community for many years, and It is in the sweat lodge some 30 years ago that I prayed for my womb to be healed so I could have a child who is now 26. I have stepped in and out of several traditions. Growing up, I come from a family that was deeply religious, but at the same time, deeply spiritual. We went to church every single Sunday, and it wasn't if you were going to church, but what were you going to wear? Can I get an amen on that? You had no choice. And yet my mom, unbeknownst to my siblings, and I'm the fifth of six children, my mom practiced the indigenous tradition of voodoo. I grew up with spiritual baths. I grew up with smudging. I grew up with herbs, healing herbs for whatever that ailed you. And yet she never shared who she was. It was much until after she became an ancestor that I understood, wow, this woman was a high priestess and was healing. Now, when I asked my parents about voodoo, I need to mention that I'm Haitian. I come from the island of Hispaniola, and I'm part of Haiti, Haiti, the land of the mountains. And our indigenous tradition is voodoo. And when I would ask about this tradition, my parents, they never said that it was bad. They said, well, it's just something that we just don't do. And so for many years, I really stayed away from really mostly all African tradition and really shunned it as I moved to different paths of exploring different earth-based tradition, like Wiccan. Yet, it was at a community healing ceremony in Dakar, Senegal. This ceremony where the community come to heal people in their community is called Ndup, and I participated in that ceremony, and in a trance, I was snatched and brought into the hills of Haiti, where a voodoo ceremony was happening, and I understood my ancestors was calling me. They were calling me to remember, to know who I am and what my heritage are, what my heritage is, because I had stayed away from it for so long. The society demonized African spirituality, and voodoo in particular is seriously demonized and denigrated. And so in moving to the different paths, I began to understand when I became, started to enter the levels of initiation. And let me tell you, when I say I'm a reluctant spiritualist, I did not come to this initiation with bells and yes, this is what I needed to do. I was like, nope, I don't need it. First of all, it costs too much money. Back then I had long locks. I didn't want to cut my hair. I didn't want to be uncomfortable. And I didn't want to step up into what my subconscious knew what I could be. Yet, I was called to initiation in various traditions. And I stand here to tell you that one initiation literally saved my life. Another initiation healed my family and began healing ancestral trauma. Now, there's the types of romanticization or initiation in some communities. And for some, it seemed as a status symbol, but initiation is just the beginning, it's work. There's a initiation and then there's priestesshood, right? Initiation is an event, it's a process. And then you have to move on to go deeper and step into your priesthood. So then it took me a while to actually get into that other piece that brings me to where I am today. And so today, I just wanted to share a few of the lessons that I learned and the process that I went through. And it begins with surrendering. I had to surrender and I had to come out of hiding. I had to come out of hiding. I had to allow myself to be seen. Now, how many of you are in hiding, have been in hiding, still in hiding to show your light? Yeah, that was me. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be heard. And it's surrendering to the process to allow spirit to work through me, to move ego out of the way, knowing that I'm a child of God. And beloved, is that I had gifts. We all have gifts. I had the key to the gift, and I was the only one that could open that box. I had to surrender that it was okay to show up in all my magnificentness. Yes. That was one thing, just to surrender to the process, lean back, let go. And the other part of my journey was to develop a spiritual practice. Now, I grew up with prayer warriors. My parents prayed every single day. Up until the time arthritis got the best of them, I saw them, they kneeled. They kneeled to pray for the family. So prayer has always been part of my practice and never left the house without the cover of prayer. Along the way, I added meditation. I practiced transcendental meditation and other meditation practices. I start my day also with empowering message from my favorite thought leaders, or I pull a spirit card and see what the angels have to tell me, what my guides have to tell me, what's the energy of my day. Having a spiritual practice, a morning practice, grounds you. So when you are in crisis, you have immediate access. Spirit will always be there, but when we're not in regular communication with the invisible, when we're in crisis, it becomes a little harder. It's like, are you there? Where are you? The begging, the pleading actually doesn't happen as much. They're still like, well, hey, where are you people? I need you. And having that spiritual practice connects you immediately and center. Well, sometimes it may not be immediate. There's a little bit of practice, but when you know and you've had experience that you're connected, it's that much easier to move into your faith and know that things are happening for you and not to you. So spiritual practice, growing that. Teachers.
I'm sorry, Marie, can we pause just a second? You're doing all this work and you've shared some really powerful pieces in there, folks in the chat responding to your questions. And I'm curious if anyone can relate to your journey, because you shared it.
Oh, thank you. I didn't see that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I actually I do have that question later on, because I want to hear from you in terms of what your practice is and where you are.
Oh, beautiful.
And so yes,
yeah,
please.
this is a community that is always ready to share, and co-create. So let me see. We started off with you sharing about your journey, how you were raised. We also heard you share about how, and this is my word, because this is what I say about myself, but I'm very eclectic in my spiritual practice, that there have been many paths that have led me to this point in time in my life. So I'm curious if anybody can relate to what Marie shared about the ancestral or the traditional practices, and then what we've been taught as far as Christian faith. You mentioned multiple pantheons or gateways. So anybody can relate, and please use your digital hand so you can speak to all of us or let us know that you're ready to share. Digital hand raised if you want to share about your journey, if you can relate or something else that was said. All right, we got Laura and we have Yannick or Yannick.
Yannick.
Yannick, okay, beautiful. Laura, you ready, lovely?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, good morning. Yes, I can relate. As far as I can remember, might be at age 4, I've been reading Psalm 91 for my caretaker until up to age 16, 5 o'clock every morning. I was raised in the church, but I stopped going to church at age 11. Then I ran away to my mom, lived with my mom for about 3 months. And one thing I remembered with my mom, it was every morning waking up on her knees, praying, sometimes 1, 2 hours. Sometimes she got into what we call the spirit. And I noticed her every morning, every evening. And I was wondering, for a woman who could not read and write, how was she able to be so eloquent? How? I just couldn't fathom it. But it came to the point where I said, can you teach me to pray? And she was trying, telling me, but I just couldn't get it. And until today, I'm still, well, as you say, hiding, not surrendering, really having a challenge with surrendering and embodying spirit fully. With that, I'm complete, and I thank you for this conversation this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And it's interesting how many of us have similar stories. And you know what, beloved? This was our parents trying to protect us for whatever reason, because of the society that we live in, right? And I see Yannick and Amelia, beloveds, I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Sister Blake, did you want to share?
Yannick is
Oh,
first.
Yannick,
Yeah. Thank you, Yannick.
don't you know I'm supposed to go first, sis?
Yes.
Anyway, my journey is kind of similar to Marie's. Growing up in the tradition of our parents being our prayer warriors, being introduced to voodoo at a young age. And my sister may not have known, but I had hang with my mother quite frequently. And unbeknownst to me, you know, I'm at a voodoo ceremony with my mom at a cousin's house. And I didn't know that's what was going on. I was kind of oblivious to what's going on and playing with the chicken and everything. And so I'm on a spiritual journey path myself. I am a Mambo Sapuen. I'm also in the Lukumi community as well. And I'm trying to form a routine, a morning routine like my sister does. I have not gotten it down yet. But I do sit with my ancestors and talk with them and try to connect in that way. I do have my spiritual cards, but a morning routine, you know, getting up when I wake up and the routine of sitting and praying instead of just getting up and go. I gotta take the kids to school and then there's work, you know, that time of taking a break and connecting is important to me because I know my ancestors are around me. I know they are with me all the time. They have proven that to me time and time again. And I like to do more and connect more. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Thank you, beloved. I'm also smiling. I see Brother Adams' comment. And that is the reaction of many people. Hollywood has done its job in terms of really demonizing this tradition, and not just voodoo mostly, but any African tradition. And I said, and today's not the conversation about voodoo. Maybe I may come back and talk specifically about that tradition. And let me share with you, because I have walked many spiritual paths and initiated in several systems. I have been privileged to be able to connect the dots and make the connection in terms of seeing the similarities of these traditions, and to understand that we all have the same foundation. We all have the same foundation. So that's for another conversation. But beloved, understand that what many people learn or hear about voodoo has a level of racism. Not a level, it is racist. Let me just call it out. That's for another conversation. And there's a level of education and information that is needed about this tradition. I want to continue with just three more of the lessons that I've learned, and then we can open up for a little bit more discussion, as the time is limited today, because it's not just about voodoo, it's about me stepping into my priestesshood and why I shunned it for so many years. Oh, Amelia, may we come back to you, beloved? I want to get these 3 points across, and I will definitely, no, yes, I'm not trying to convert anybody. Teachers and mentors have been important to me in my journey. YouTube has a lot of great information, and it has a lot of misinformation. You can learn a lot from there and also be misguided. You can Google anything. However, there is nothing like sitting at the foot of an elder or a knowledge teacher or mentor. And they don't necessarily have to be older than you. I have one of my teachers is much younger than I am. It's important in many of the African traditions that have been oral, like in voodoo, it's just now becoming a written language, Creole in particular, that you want to learn from the lived experience of teachers and mentors in those traditions. When you're ready and you ask for the teacher, they will show up, right? And you begin building your toolbox. And eventually, what you learn, you begin to teach as well. And this is the space that I find myself. Or gratitude, I have a practice of gratitude that has been my saving grace and my abundance in unexpected hours. Gratitude is not just an action, but a mindset. And lastly, what I share with you in terms of my journey is service and lessons in action. Service brings a level of humbleness where you step out of your way, where you pay it forward. And I actually got that from my dad, who was always paying it forward. And what's important here, we're in this world, we're living a spiritual experience, we're learning lessons, and the lessons come. And you know what, beloved? We have to put those lessons in action. And today, my share with you is one of the actions that I am doing right now in sharing some of the things that I've learned. When we put the lessons in action, we heighten the collective frequency of our community. It doesn't just stay with us. We have to share the lesson as we learn it. And so that information even goes in even deeper. Yes, it goes even deeper. And then lastly, and I'm gonna open up for a few minutes of discussion, is when I stepped into my priestesshood, when I stepped up, I accepted myself as the magnificent, gifted person that I am. That I accepted my gifts. I became more confident. I am still working on that, becoming more confident to share who I am, right? When you step into your gifts, you really expand yourself. And I recognize that I am whole and complete. I didn't always feel that way. It was a process of moving into my priesthood and accepting who I am and showing up as you see me today. And it's still a work in progress. I'm gonna still be working until I transition to the next dimension. So I see the time now, and I'd love to hear a little bit more of how folks are engaging in their own spiritual practice. What do you have in your toolbox that you can share with others?
Yeah, so we want to go back to Amelia, who had her hand up
Yes.
earlier, and then hear from her and then others as well. So raise your digital hand, family, if you want to share. Amelia, you ready?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Just acknowledging I'm driving, so apologies for any background noise. My spiritual practices and what's been coming up for me in this conversation was just my own journey with my connection to God. I grew up mainly with my dad and grandmother who were Jehovah's Witness. So I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. And it wasn't until later in my journey that I realized it didn't feel in alignment. So there was a couple years that I went away from Jehovah's Witness and was just on my own journey, going to different churches. And ultimately what I found for myself was that spirituality and forming my own kind of connection with God was where I felt most at peace. So my spiritual practices now consist of morning, sunrise, reflection, doing a gratitude journal, and doing my meditation and really trying to practice that, strengthening that connection with the God or the essence that flows through each of us. So that's kind of been my my journey into faith, and it's still a journey. I'm still learning how to be comfortable with what I choose as my own faith belief, as opposed to what my family has chosen as their faith belief. This morning, I was really just accepting that the thread and the theme that runs through all of us is that we have a belief in God, regardless of how we actually express that belief in God. So that it's been a journey to get there for me. So thank you for this conversation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, the belief in one creator. Yes. Who else would like to share?
Yes. Anyone else? Raise your hand, your digital hand. Let us know. And while we wait on that, let's read the chat. Different things have been dropped in from the chat. All righty. Phyllis Baker earlier in the session said, I've been trying to learn more about my ancestors because it's been in me all my life, but I don't know how to connect. You're in the right place, my beloved. Adam talked about his mornings consisting of black seed, living bitters, that are his spiritual tool, part of his spiritual toolbox, along with sea moss, gels for my internal self-care. And Melissa Rivera said, since moving out of New York City 13 years ago to the Hudson Valley, I've been trying to find my tribe. My spirituality has become stronger over these years. Living on a friend's farm since early 2022 has brought up my craving for stronger connection to land, ancestors, and myself. And Catherine said, I too witnessed the presence of Jehovah. Adam shared a link for the living bitters that he uses. And from Facebook, thank you, Elaine. Elaine said, I am on the same journey. I'm trying to create a relationship with God, source, creator, but I feel disconnected from formal religion. Go ahead, sis.
Yes, I want to say something to that. One, we have to, you don't have to do anything except stay Black. But I invite you to understand and to consider that spirit is always there. The invisible force is always there. We just have to tap into it. We are never alone in this planet. We have an invisible army that has our back, and really taking time to just sit. I'm not asking to meditate, but just be in silence. And as you continue to be in silence, you will begin to connect. You will begin to connect to the forces that is always available to you, right? Always available to you, and knowing that you are loved, that you are loved. You came into this world pure love. And it's just a matter of reconnecting and taking the time. It's communication, it's engagement with whatever it is you do, whether it's walking out into in the park. Sister Melissa is out on the land. Nature is one of the best way to connect to spirit. Yeah.
Awesome. All righty. We have a hand raised by Adam. Adam, if you can unmute, please.
Sure, Coach Johnny. Good morning. I'm Sister Aya Marie. How you doing this morning?
I am wonderful. Thank you, Brother Adam.
Good. I just wanted to share the moringa and black seed living bitters that I use every day, along with my sea moss gel that I use, which I'm put in the link. The reason why I chose that as my spiritual toolbox is because I believe internal self-care is revolutionary for me as a Black man, especially living here in America. Yeah, I believe by me, getting those things, it helps me connect with nature. And it also helps me, become more energetic, more, focused, and more appreciative of what I already have. And it also prevents me from multiple illnesses that I can get as I get older and whatnot, and from a mental perspective, and from a mental standpoint.
No, definitely. Our ancestors understood plants in a way that we are just now beginning to understand them as we move the veil from our minds and our eyes. I have my paternal grandfather in Haiti. I was told spoke to plants. I didn't get to know him in the way that my older siblings did in Haiti, but he talked to plants and they talked back to him. And he was a healer and made his potion to heal his community. And I've taken some of that, as I have a garden, and in the summer, I grow all kinds of herbs. And when I have to do my spiritual bath, I just go to the backyard and just pull the herbs from the backyard or from the pot.
Yes. Exactly. And I believe the very thing that is missing, especially in this modern generation of young people, including myself, is the connection between the herbs, especially as young children, because when I was a young child, I was exposed to junk food, fast food, and frozen food. especially when I was watching cartoons. So my parents will go out and purchase them unknowingly, and we started getting hooked to these salt and sugars that are very addictive, and it's making us very, very sick as a people as we get older.
And thank you again for that. I'm looking at the time. I also want to share, those of us who live in New York City, you may not have a backyard per se, but you have pots, you have plant pots. And I encourage my students and those that I'm working with is you can grow your herbs in a pot for yourself and use them for your healing, for your baths, and to make your sprays as needed. You don't need to have a garden. You don't need to have a garden. You can grow your own herbs, your healing herbs, and there's so many.
Yeah, I know we're wrapping up, but I wanted to share something in the chat, and I also wanted to share something that came to my spirit as Adam was talking. Kinyofu shared, I was raised Protestant, but gravitated to African culture in my early adulthood. I found Kemet, Akan, and Yoruba. I love the connections they all have to each other, and fell in love with how much Wiccan tradition is infused in a lot of our holidays here in America. From Facebook, Omofunke McLeod said, yes, we are all connected to cosmic frequencies, and the highest frequency vibration is love. Ashe. Catherine said, self-care is making a connection with self in a divine way. Melissa Rivera shared, I love plants. I miss the botanical gardens in Brooklyn and the Bronx. She also said, I do a lot of teaching in Wave Hill during the winter and summer and love spending time there. And from Facebook, Omofunke said, yes, Kinyofu, nature-based is everything. So I wanted to share this really quickly, Marie, and then you can share whatever is there as far as your final shares or feedback for folk, that I'm very conscious that what I put in my body impacts how deeply I can connect with spirit. When my body is toxic, it's hard for me to connect. So our bodies, as has been said, have frequencies, they're tuning forks, they're conduits for messaging. And when I'm eating junk, sugar, a lot of salt, when I'm feeling sluggish because of that, or not moving as much, then I'm not able to hear the messages as clearly or be the conduit that I know that I can be. My intuition is muted out. It's not off, but it's muted. So I just want to share, the more live foods I eat, the more water I drink, the more natural my way of flowing and living and giving is, the more spirit is able to speak to me, because they're always wanting to speak, but I'm not always a vessel that is the cleanest and clearest for them to share messaging to and through. So I just wanted to share that for the community, since Adam brought up how we eat as one of the things that have an impact.
That is so important, is working with the vessel that we have and caring for the vessel. Self-care is so important as we move and show up in this world. I want to wrap up to say that each and every one of us, we're one of a kind. We are one of a kind, and we came in with a purpose. And as I started in the beginning, and I had to learn this for myself, that you are the gift. And if you don't open up your gift, right, walk in your purpose, then we all get to miss out. We all get to miss out, right? So stepping into your purpose, sharing your gifts, and when you learn the lesson, to share that lesson, put that lesson into action, right? So that it becomes a blessing for community. You are literally raising the frequency of community, heightening that collective frequency when we share our gifts and we share our lessons. And with that, I am complete. Sister Shani, okay, thank you. I just want to say a deep gratitude to community who showed up for this conversation. And yes, thank you. Thank you for showing up for me and for yourself and for this community.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing so openly. And we're going to hold you to coming back and teaching more foundational pieces around Vodou and Vodou. Tell me the right pronunciation.
It's Voodoo. So
Vodou.
Haitian Voodoo is spelled Vodou. Out of Benin, West Africa is Voodoo, Vodoun. Out of Louisiana is Voodoo, Voodoo. Right? And all of that, beloved, is out of Africa, has its foundation out of Africa. And yeah, that's a conversation that we may have. And to do a little bit of sharing of how I show up in this world and what it means in this world to be a mumble priestess.
Got that. Beautiful. All right, so let me put up the final slides and share about your book, beloved. If you
Oh yes, I did do a thing last year, which is called What a Woman Wants. It's actually it came out of a writing project that I was in, and I began to write what was in my heart. What is it that I wanted for myself and my community? And I belong to many circles of sisters. I love women, and they're my breath and my water in terms of how I move in the world. And so I'm in a lot of sister circles. So I began to ask them, well, what is it that you want? And the words began to pour in for themselves, for their families, for the world. Some of them are really funny and erotic and deeply spiritual. And this work spans 4 continents of women from different social class and race, starting from age 23. And the oldest contributor to this book is it's a compilation of desires is Miriam. At the time was 81. And beloveds, a portion of this of the sale of this book goes to organization that works with women and girls and the environment, because the biggest mama, the biggest feminine energy is our planet. And I was committed to giving back from the sale of the book. And so, yeah, so it's called What a Woman Wants, and I think you might enjoy it. So that is my offering to you. And you can get the book on the website. If you get it through the website, I'm able to make larger donations to different organizations. There's a list of organizations that the sisters share that's in the back of the book. And I usually pull from there. And I've been fortunate to have been able to donate to over like six organizations so far from the sale of the book.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And the contact information for Marie is here, and then it's also being dropped in the chat. The link is here too to purchase the book and check out her site in general, but it's also being dropped in the Facebook thread and the Zoom chat as well for you to access. So please do access and support our sister. So here we are. Go ahead. You want to say something else? Oh, okay. I thought I heard something. So the love offerings, we have an opportunity to give to this community to keep us growing and flowing and accessing these beautiful messages and learnings so that we can continue to ascend as a community, because that's one of our mantras and the vision for this work. So we invite you to create an automated way to give back to the Wake Up Everybody community so that we can keep this work going. Today's session is session number 727, and how we got here is by the awesome giving and presence of this community. So let's share our own natural energy yield, which is our acronym for money, my own natural energy yield, so that we can keep building and growing and transforming together. Thank you, family. And remember the session that I did on Thanksgiving. If you were here, we all made a commitment for 2023. How we give actually is tied to how we receive. And it's tied to the messaging, I believe, that Maria is sharing today about our birthright, our ancestral connections. They want us to prosper. So on Tuesday, tomorrow, and Wednesday, the next day, we have two beautiful beings that are going to be sharing messages of power and purpose with us. So Marinés Rodriguez is going to be sharing a message. Sorry about the background noise, y'all. Angel Allies for Attaining Wealth, connected to what Marie is sharing today. And then on Wednesday, looking back or staying back, dealing with the past. All of this is connected. So we're going to continue on this journey of enlightenment through these two sisters over the next 2 days. So please set your alarms, register, check it out, join, and prosper. The Wu Nation welcomes all new members, and no matter what, you're a member if you join in the session. So if you came because your sister Marie was going to be presenting today, we ask that you come back to this community because we welcome you and we're here committed to learn, elevate, and ascend. So no coming and then leaving and we never see you again. Keep coming back to co-create with us. It's so worth it for your growth, development, and transformation. And our schedule is Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. We have a longer session, 7 to 8:30 a.m. And then today, like Monday, and then on Wednesday are the shorter sessions, like an appetizer. We went a little longer today, but anytime that we're in this space, we grow, we transform. So 7 to 7:30 on Monday and Wednesday. So once again, set this in your schedule as one of your morning rituals. Many of us have that as our as part of our process of growth and ascension. And if you want to be reminded every morning without having to set an alert, you can get automated text to remind you and to send the link. Just type in on your text the number 74121, and in the text box put the word in all caps, Wu Nation, and then you'll be automatically added to our texting system so that you can receive text messages. So we're in the holiday season. We have new Wu swag. So we have candles that go with our song, our theme song, and what we say we do here every day. So we have the transforming candle. We have the growing candle for those who are like, I want to grow. So you want to amplify that daily. The healing candle, if there are things to heal mind, body, and spirit. We have a cup with an affirming message on it. I can't see it as clearly, so forgive me. And then, of course, our regular things that we sell, which are the t-shirts, sweatshirts, teacups. Just go on the site and visit today. And you can utilize, we have a hat with the Wu logo on it and leggings for women who, I know I want them. I want those leggings, those Wu leggings, so I can exercise and move around and be comfortable. So check it out, use the link and contribute to the community in that way. And then stay in touch. You can register. We have dropping the links in Zoom and Facebook. And you have the links so that you can register for this week's sessions and check out the listing and what people are going to be presenting as facilitators, all this good stuff. You can utilize, click, and engage. So we are complete for the day, and let's stay on and celebrate and acknowledge our sister Marie for what she has provided. So family, if you are ready, please unmute and share the love.
Thank you.
Shukran, beloved Shukran.
That was an awesome, awesome
Thank
journey.
you
Thank you
so
so
very
much.
much.
Holy Spirit,
Thank
blessings, love.
Thank you. Many
Thank you
blessings.
so much,
you. Want to
Very
give
much.
Marie some
Marie,
girl?
I just want to say
wonderful.
for everybody, and
Have
I love
an
y'all.
awesome, awesome day, everyone. Love you guys.
Day.
bless.
Blessings,
Talk to you later.
blessings,
They love you.
blessings.
Thank you, beloved.
Blessings and
Thank you.
Keep
love.
drinking more water and keep,
Thank
take your
you.
herbs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to your return.
You.